What's going on, you guys? Today we're going to be learning the song Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. This song is the third song off of her debut LP, Sour. And what's really exciting to me is that this song is at the top of the charts and it actually has guitar in it. And maybe I'm just dreaming here, but hopefully one day we'll see guitar in most of the songs in the top 40. But for real though, this is a really fun song and I'm excited to show it to you. But a few things before we jump in. In this tutorial, I'm striving to teach you how to play the song exactly like the recording, note by note. If you wish for an easier way to play the song, I also made a beginner guitar tutorial. If that is out now, you can check it out up here. If it is not, I promise it'll be out within the week. Now, I also wanted to mention that I offer private online lessons over Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever, and I'm willing to give you your first lesson for free. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, my email will be down in the description box below. Oh, and I also have chord charts down in the description box as well. Without any further ado, let's get into it. You're watching Logan's Lessons. So this song starts out with just bass guitar. For this first half of the verse, we play absolutely nothing. But halfway through the verse, there's a minimalistic eighth note guitar pattern, switching in between two different notes. You're going to put your ring finger on the 4th fret of your D string. Secondly, you'll put your index finger on the 2nd fret of that same string. You play each note 8 times, alternate picking. It'll sound like this. And just like I played it, it plays 3 times in a row. Play it with me. Now the 4th measure changes and we go to a C-sharp 7 chord. This chord will be accomplished by putting your middle finger on the 4th fret of your A string. Your first finger will be on the 3rd fret of your D. Your 3rd finger on the 4th fret of your G. And your pinky goes on the 4th fret of your high E. You're going to let your B string ring out. The chord should sound like this. Now the strumming pattern for this chord is really simple. You're going to do all down strums on the quarter note, building up. By that I mean you just make each strum louder than the last, and you strum it 5 times like so. Now let's talk about the chorus, arguably the most involved section of this song. I'll teach you the chords prior to the strumming pattern. We are going to start on a D major bar chord. You're going to do this by putting your first finger on the 5th fret of your A string. Then barring, hence the term bar chord, the 7th fret of your D, G, and B strings. The chord should sound like this. Once you have that nailed, let's move on to the 2nd chord, which is an A major bar chord. You're going to start by barring the 5th fret of all of your strings with your index finger. Secondly, we're going to take our 3rd finger and place it on the 7th fret of our A string. Right under that, we're going to put our pinky finger on the 7th fret of our D. And lastly, our middle finger will be on the 6th fret of our G string. That is an A major bar chord. For a 3rd chord, we have an E major. This is going to be played with the same shape as the first chord we learned, but you're going to move that up 2 frets so that your first finger is on the 7th fret and your 3rd finger is barring the 9th. Okay, so right after that, we do this chordal walk down thing, which I think is the highlight of the chorus and what gives it its flair. You'll put your first finger on the 9th fret of your A string, then your 3rd on the 11th fret of your D. Your pinky will be directly below that on the 11th of your G. And finally, we have our middle on the 10th fret of our B string. The chord should sound like that. Now, I mentioned a walk down. You'll be going from this chord to the previous chord, an E major, and that transitions back into the beginning of the chorus and the chord progression on the D major chord. So. Okay, so I know that was a lot. Let's recap together. We're going to be starting on a D major chord, going down to an A major, up to an E major, then a walk down from your F sharp minor chord on the 9th fret of your A to the E major chord again, and finally starting back over on the D major. Make sure you fully understand that before moving on to strumming. So just pause this video or rewind and make sure you have that nailed. But assuming you do have it nailed, Let's get that strumming. The D chord starts us out strong with a simple down, 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 up. Do it with me. Down, 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 up. One more time. All right, moving on to the A major, we have an up, up, down, down, up, down, up. Play that with me slowly. Faster now. Together with the previous chord. One more time. Alright, so this is where we get to the E major chord. And I want to mention that this first part is optional. We have a little, it's a really quick down, up, down right at the start of the chord. And the down at the end of the down, up, down is on the 1 beat. What do I mean by that? Well, if we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be a 2, 3, 4, da da da. 2, 3, 4, da da da. You see how that lands? So it'll sound like this. As I said, this is purely optional. If you would rather, you can simply do a single down strum to start the E major chord. So we have that down, up, down. Then we have 2 downs, an up, pause, and an up, up. If I do that really slow, play it with me. Faster now. Full speed. Now with the other chords. One more time. So right after that we have our walk down, which starts on the F sharp minor, remember? And this is played as an upstroke on the offbeat. So to show you how it lands, like so. Then we have the E major, which is on an upstroke as well, and it starts over. Let me do that slowly. Now let's do the whole chord progression together. Now full speed. Now I wanted to point out that in the recording it does that little down, up, down thing on the first chord as well, every time other than the first time through the chord progression. So if I play through the entire chorus, it'll sound like this. It plays through that chord progression 4 times, by the way. That, my friends, is the chorus. It involves quite the doozy of a strumming pattern, but I'm confident that if you work hard at it and you put in the time, you can crush it! So that brings us into the post-chorus, which is just, well, the section after the chorus. Yeah, you get it. We're going to start this section on an F sharp minor chord, but this time we're playing it in a different voicing than the chorus. We're going to bar the entire 2nd fret with our index finger. Then you'll place your 3rd finger on the 4th fret of our A string, and right below that we have our pinky finger on the 4th fret of our D. That's an F sharp minor chord. So then we slide that down so that our 3rd and pinky fingers are on the 2nd fret of our A and D, respectively. You take your index finger off, by the way, and you put your middle finger on the 1st fret of your G. You may recognize this chord if I played it with these fingers instead. It doesn't really matter, both of these ways of playing it are E major chords, but the former is easier to play in this song. Lastly, we have a B major bar chord. If you recall the 2nd chord in the chorus, an A major, it'll just be that chord, but just shift it up 2 frets. And this is why that E major chord being played that way makes economical sense. You can just slide it right up. Now it's worthy to mention that the F sharp minor lasts twice as long as the E major or the B. Let's talk strumming. The F sharp minor will have the same strumming pattern as the first chord of the chorus, the down, 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 up. The next two chords take a departure from that by doing an up, up, down for each of them. So we have a down, 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 up, up, down, up, down. And that is played twice. Play the post-chorus with me. Alright, so that goes into the second chorus, which I already mentioned to you is exactly the same as the first. Then a second chorus, which is identical to what I just showed you. And actually, the post-chorus is the same as the one we just learned as well. Then we get into the solo, if you want to call it that. It's about as close to a solo as you're going to get in the top 40. And I'll take it. You'll start by sliding up to the 7th fret of your B string with your ring finger. Then you're going to hit the 5th fret of your high E with your index, like so. Then you'll play your 6th fret of your G string with your middle finger. And you'll bar the B and the high E strings with the 5th fret. You're going to pick downwards from the G to the B to the E, and then B to E. Like so. So far we have. Play what we got so far with me. Thirdly, we replicate the first movement, but up 2 frets. So you slide up to the 9th fret of your B string, and immediately hit the 7th of your E with your index. So. Then you do this little diddly, starting out with the index on the 4th fret of your high E string. Then your 3rd finger goes on the 5th fret of your E, and you slide that up to the 7th fret. And finally, you hit the 5th fret once again. So, if I do that slowly, full speed, all of that together. So then we get into the bridge of this song, which is going to start with an F sharp minor chord. But for the first half of the bridge, you needn't play the full chord, just the 2nd fret of your low E string twice. Then you go to an E major chord, which can be simplified as just the open E string. And finally a B major chord, which is on the 2nd fret of your A, or the 7th fret of your E, but I default to the 2nd fret of my A string because it's closer. But in the pre-chorus, I prefer the 7th fret of the E string because you can just slide the E major shape up. And I would actually do that in that fashion for the second half of this bridge. But first, let me show you the cadence of this bridge. Play it with me. Okay, so that brings us into the second half of the bridge, which has a different strumming pattern from the rest of the song. It'll be a down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, with an emphasis on the down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, basically an emphasis on the ones I'm shouting. And we're going to emphasize those notes by palm muting all of the other notes. We'll do that by simply resting the side of our palm across the strings so that they become, well, muted. Do that with me slowly. Faster now. Okay, so that is the bridge. Then we get into a stripped back chorus, which is just acoustic guitar. It's literally the exact same thing as you would play inside of a normal chorus, but you only play through it twice, and on the second time through, you do not do the walk down. It's just complete silence. That drops us into a normal chorus, followed by a normal post-chorus, and finally an outro that is reminiscent of Brain Stew by Green Day. I guess she was kind of going for this 2000s pop rock kind of vibe, so that kind of makes sense. You're going to play the F sharp minor chord downwards twice, followed by the E major from our chorus twice, and then a B major chord twice. And it ends on a downward twice for the F sharp minor once again. So we have... Nice! You just learned the song Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. If you have a song request, please leave it down below, and if you want to be notified of future videos, hit that bell. I sincerely hope that you are well. Please hit that like button blue. I'd appreciate it. If you subscribe too, I hope this video has been a blessing. You've been watching Logan's Lessons.